Hello, hello, good morning, happy Sunday. We're playing Screeps today because, well, it is Sunday. And last week, we were able to finish going through all of the tutorials. We did the final tutorial level, which means we had to go back into Capture the Flag again. So we've done this before. We were in here, I'm on rank 388 and rating 563, whatever that means. If I look at the rank positions, is there like a full, will they use infinite scroll for this? I kind of wish they did. Oh, they do. They show me down here. Kind of wish they would scroll me down right away to like where I was, so I can just see everybody around me. But okay, so I'm done here at 388. Looks like oh, there's more players now. 623 total ranked players, although a bunch of them have 0 points whatsoever, so probably have never won a game or never. Actually, I've never won against another player that had anything, but I've won against players that probably these players. All right, so what's the plan for today? What I want to do is do a little bit of sort of extraction writing and preparing for capture the flag type stuff. So if we take a look at our screeps.toml, there is a capture the flag sort of build here, and it's under this feature. So we are going to utilize that, and we have these tutorial section. I'm thinking now is fun. Now we're going to create a, I don't know if I need it to be tutorials or if I could just call it capture the flag. CTF. Probably ctf.rs. And I suppose I want to bring this in if and only if we are running. So don't have any of the feature flags in here. All right, so I need a run. Do we want to do anything? Well, I don't know if I really care about the first tick, but we can take something in for that. So with the current tick, which I think is a U32. And I don't know if we need to return any errors or do any error handling. We can deal with that later as it were. Okay, so that brings that in. Other things that we've sort of like learned that we just need. Probably, okay, so we have logging here. I'm thinking some general utilities or utils, and inside of that, what do we want to do? We want to essentially wrap around the reflect to attach something to a creep, to get something from a creep. Let's actually look at our tutorial, our last tutorial. Now I could have my own sort of role system that, regardless of what we're doing, we have like, one of these roles. That actually might make a lot of sense because now not all of them will be used by every single one. But I kind of do like that because then we can just, for each type, we don't have to rewrite all of this stuff. So it's less of utils and more of global. So regardless of what type of game we're playing, these are going to be like helpful. Index.rs, HTML. What was I thinking? Okay, so then in lib, pull that in. Oh, index. Yeah. You're a mod. Apparently, it's early in the morning. Okay, so we want a role. We can sort of build this out based upon this first capture the flag that we want to do. Hub role, and we'll sort of deal with this as we go through it. Now, creep state might be good too. Like what the state of the creep is in. So we have this work, harvest, and unknown, but we could also have like gather, attack, defend, other things in here too. So let's do another one for state. All right, so this is just using their normal stuff, so we don't really need to care about this type of thing. We have get creeps to get a list of, like, to get all the creeps with a flag on it for it. Are they mine or are they not mine? I kind of feel that that's helpful. So this would be under, I mean, perhaps under mod we can do that, or perhaps we can have under mod we can have like utilities. So this would be a function, pub function, get creeps. We'll have a my as a boolean. And we'll return a vector of creep. All right, so that should be good enough for this one. We'll get all our creeps. And that will allow me to get the enemy creeps too. The roll count is interesting. I feel like the roll count is mostly used for spawning, and we don't need that yet. So I'm going to leave that out. Yeah, there's a bunch of like, okay, control spawner, increment roll count. That being said, I wonder if it would be good to have a flag defender as a role, like defend flag. That would be interesting. That being said, I don't know if I necessarily need a full count rolls for that. I'm gonna leave this out until we decide like I actually need this more than like just this one time. Now there's this assign creep state that could be really good for us to add in there. Assign creep state, what did that do? That was, so get the state from a creep. Okay, get the current state from the creep. Oh, and then figure out what you're gonna do. Right, and then, okay, got it. So in this case, we also got the roll. This actually feels a little bit more like business logic, and that would go into the individual thing. And then, okay, then we say, okay, let me see what role you have, and then we'll run based upon that. We'll probably create runs in global for very specific things. So we'll maybe have like a bunch of different fighter type runs. Okay, so I think this is a good place to start with us. And we can then go back to capture the flag and start figuring things out here. So here is how this entire thing works. In the capture a flag arena, there is, you know what, we could just play against an idle opponent here. Is this us? This is us. So we are either starting on the top left or we are starting on the bottom right. It is random. We have no idea. We have a flag right here. We have 2 turrets that we can use that every single tick gain 1 energy. And it takes a significant amount of energy for them to fire. Also, they have a range of 50, which is like out to like here. This is a 100 by 100 square. so they can reach around halfway. In the middle of the arena, there's these swamps with then two sort of bridges across. So those are going to be the two places that we can, that creeps can really want to like go. Homeless, hello. And so we could potentially position ourselves here, try to make them come to us, get sort of caught in the in this, and then just sort of try to take them out at that point. Other things that are happening inside the swamp, these body parts are created. So this one is an attack body part. It decays in like 100 seconds or so from when it first, 100 ticks. And we can send a creep, if it rolls over this position, it gets this body part attached to it. So I would probably want one of my attackers to get this body part. A healer to get the healer wand. Anybody just could take the move, and I'd be okay with that. Because that move will allow them to move faster in the swamp. Oh yeah, and then ranged. And so these pop up and they disappear over time. Let's see, anything else? To win, we need to stand on the opponent's flag. That's it. We just need to get there and move somebody on top of it. We don't need to bring it back to ours. And we have 2,000 ticks to do this. Unless, of course, we get killed first. Which is usually how it ends. We get killed. Alright, so first off, our turrets can heal us, or they can attack and kill opponents. I'm kind of wondering... should we use them for healing only? They can't really help us on the other side. You need to know how to name unit tests. You saw some people using it, should return true when, blah, 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 and some using it, return true when, blah, blah, blah. Do we need to use should or not? So it really depends. If you're working on a team, then use whatever the team's guidelines are. I like to sort of think about the sentence that appears on the screen as you're running the tests, which is not like, which is starting with, because you're using like shoulds and its. I'm expecting you're also gonna have like a describe. Yeah, you're gonna have like describes, and you can nest them if you want. So you can have describe and then a very like generic thing. So describe, you know, login system, and then potentially another one. It's like another describe. So login system should succeed, and then the third one would be when a user follows the happy path. Something like that. So then on the terminal window, when you run the test, you'll see login system should succeed when the user follows the happy path. Because then you can add in, okay, login system should fail when user enters, you know, no password. Something like that. It really, like, think of those names as like those are going to be telling you exactly where to go look for the test when it fails, and that's all it really is. Like, besides that, it doesn't have any effect whatsoever. Awesome. Yeah, so I think we should have our turrets attack. we should probably have them attack if any enemy is like within this area. So what is this? This is like 1, 2, 3, 4. So if any enemy is within 4, whatever that means, like 4 spaces, 4 units of the flag, then we should probably attack them with the turrets. Otherwise, we should probably attempt to heal our units in case they're injured, because that will just give them more survivability against our opponents, which I think is going to be helpful. Okay, so strategy. All right, so our strategy is going to be turrets, attack all enemies within the swamp near the flag. And then the other one would be heal anyone damaged on our side of the map. Okay, so that's good enough. One thing that I saw that was pretty good is having one of our creeps just move in, and its job is to defend. So it just sits on top of our flag and forces our opponents to deal with that. So we could take a ranger and do that. So ranger just sits down and just start like ranged attacks anyone who gets close to it. That might be good. I also don't know if it really matters too much which ones. I don't want to use a fighter because we only have 2 of them. I could use a healer, but then they won't ever be able to attack. I could also use... Now this would be interesting. Imagine if I took one of my healers, or just, yeah, it'd be a healer or a ranger, because we have equal number of them. We have 6 of each. Imagine if I took one of them by random. Your role is going to be defender. Lean Mendoza, hello. Thank you. Awesome. I'm glad they're being really useful for you. And how can we? Also greetings and hello from Argentina. Awesome. So like I've always I've been a teacher and instructor in the past. So that's one of the big motivations that I have in life. Is like helping people learn, because I've actually like spent some time learning how to teach. Now I haven't figured out the best way to do that on YouTube through just like screen tutorials, because like I'm used to / like have a history of doing it in person. So I want to figure that out. But basically my main motivations is just getting that stuff out, creating awesome content, hearing good feedback, being able to answer questions, like feeling that I am making some kind of difference. That's pretty much it. These Sunday streams where I'm doing Screeps are mostly like just fun for myself. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just good feedback. So I'm really happy that it's so helpful for you. All right. Yeah, let's have this. What if our defender just became really beefy and could do all the things? Like it could attack, it could do ranged, it could it had like a massive amount of defense and it could move really fast. So I take one of our healers and I say, go out and grab all these things. Okay, so I want a healer. So we'll have creeps for this. Defender. Choose the first healer. And assign it the role healer. Oh, sorry, defender. It will be the one protecting the flag. Okay. What does that mean for us? Because sitting there and protecting the flag while there's no enemies on our side of the map then is a completely waste of its time. While enemies are on the other side of the map, collect power-ups. And I guess it doesn't really matter. Just like do your best. Collect all the power-ups. Otherwise, head back to base and otherwise head back to base and cover protect the flag. And so then this way it would be able to heal itself. So what it would do, it would be it would heal itself if it's damaged. It would defend, it would attack ranged if there's nobody right next to it, and it would attack melee if there is somebody right next to it. All the other creeps, there's no reason to stay around. We could attack out at that point in time. See if we can get some damage done. And then also see if we can... we might just be able to win right then. So all the other creeps. So this would be... attackers. I want them to move out here. They're going to ignore all these power-ups. Those are for our defender. The rock formations are always random, so I can't count on them, so I can't have like a specific spot for them to like go to a staging area. If I just tell them all to go, they'll probably end up going into a single line and make it really easy to be picked off once they get here. So I kind of want them to like move somewhere near here. And once everybody is around that area, then everybody, hey, just move in. Or maybe I just want to say, you know what? The closest creep. I mean, we could also do this. Have the rangers and have the fighters attack the closest creep to our flag and try to kill it. And so they're all swarming and all trying to go after a single, so focus fire. Kind of like that. So this is going to be a very simple strategy to begin with. So all attackers focus fire the closest, the nearest, the enemy creeps, starting with the one closest to our flag. Healers, I guess like move with the pack, or heal the nearest creep with damage. And then we have to eventually get to the flag. I mean, we could just attack everybody, and like once all the enemies are dead, then we take the flag. So once all enemies are dead, swarm the flag. Really, this should probably just be all. So in this case, if we have a bunch of healers out there, I just want my turrets to be supporting my defender. So this should be heal defender, attack all enemies within the swamp near our flag. Okay, this is going to be our initial strategy, and we're going to see how it works. Okay, so first of all, we would need to have a defender. So looking at, close you up, looking at our roles, we're going to have defender as a role. And what does that mean? Okay, so I want to choose maybe the first healer that we can find. And assign it to be defender. So really what I guess like we have these things. We have attackers and defenders. So we have defender and attacker. Do we need to write tests that verify our tests? So write tests to test the test code. No, because you're going to end up with just like when do you stop? And that's not really going to be helpful. So if you want to write, well, I guess there's different types of tests. So there's unit tests, and that tests like a very specific part of your application. Think about like if it's a computer, maybe you're testing just like the keyboard works on its own. Maybe like another test for like the monitor to make sure the monitor is working. And a third one to test that like the button on your computer to like for the power actually works. And then there's end-to-end / integration tests. And so with those, what you're trying to do is say, okay, does all the components work together? As in, if I take the keyboard and the monitor and the computer with its 100 different components, and I plug them all in together, and will the computer actually work? And you can automate. There should be a way to automate those tests too. where it's like, okay, now run the entire thing and use it as the user would use it. And but then after that, you shouldn't need more tests. In fact, getting too many tests actually becomes a problem too, because now it takes too long to run. And so you really want to make sure you can stay around 10 minutes at most for your feedback. I know there's some people that take like an hour plus for their test suite to run, which is just too much, way too much. Does that answer your question? Hopefully it does. And if it doesn't, I'll try again. Okay, so I have this role. I want to add these. The way I'm going to add these is I want to look for the first one with a body type. Well, this is going to be, okay, this is going to be business logic. So inside of here, we're going to function assign no, I need to determine what type this is. Basically, like, hey, what type we're going? Yeah, but not all tests are created equal. Unit tests are fast to run and end-to-end tests are not fast. We need to write more unit tests and less end-to-end tests because end-to-end tests are expensive to run. So I wouldn't necessarily only think of things in the terms like of expensive to run or not, and more of what are the benefits that you're getting from them. Because it's if I had a choice, like if I had to make a choice between only having end-to-end test and only having unit tests, I would absolutely choose end-to-end tests. Now the reason for that is because a unit test to make sure that function in isolation works as expected, but it doesn't make sure that function works together when it's integrated into the system as a whole. End-to-end test does. So the entire idea would be, I know all the functions are working correctly if the entire system as a whole is working correctly. So now you need a mix of them. There's this thing called double loop testing where you create a single end-to-end test. Yeah, but when you find a bug with end-to-end test, then good luck finding where the bug is in a bug code. Well, that's the thing, is your bug may not be may not be caught by any unit tests either. Your bug may be something that your end-to-end test catches that you weren't thinking about in the individual functions. So it's one of those things where will your unit tests really catch bugs? And that's the big thing. Tests don't catch bugs. Tests verify that your bugs don't come back. I think that's like a really important feature here, is because you only test what we think to test. And so we can't test things that we can't think of. Bugs are usually things that we haven't thought of. Unit test is precise, you think. You can see at micro level where something is. Absolutely, yes. And what you could do is you could also have like where unit tests don't always necessarily run. If the end-to-end tests are running, you want to make sure like that's a way to like sort of keep things running a little bit faster. But general best practice is make sure that you cover everything by end-to-end tests. Unit tests are great. They're really good for helping write the code, and they're really good for sort of like understanding the logic and making changes safely. After that, I would generally not sacrifice end-to-end tests for unit tests though, if you had to make that choice. At the beginning of a project, unit tests protect us against regressions? Not really. Because like, I mean, they can, but unit tests won't do that for the most part. Think about how regressions end up happening. Oftentimes our bugs are not within a single function, but the interaction between functions together, especially if it involves state being changed. And a single unit test in isolation is not going to trigger state in other functions in the other side of the application. That's where regressions are going to really hit you and where it's going to really suck. Knowing that it's happening is going to be is probably going to be those end-to-end tests are going to help you out with that, where you then say, okay, I have all these different interdependencies. The end-to-end tests make sure that they all get hit in the appropriate manner, and then you can also write the exact code to recreate the problem in end-to-end tests, and therefore verify that it never comes back again. You have function A depend on function B, so you test function A and function B separately with unit tests. Exactly. So if they're not working together, you won't ever know that test-wise. Integration tests, you will definitely find out if they're not working together very well. All right, so our first thing here is I want to assign the defender. And then really I just want to loop through, I guess what I want to do is I want to loop through all of our creeps. So let's, I guess, get all of my creeps. So okay, so that gets you. And then I want to, for each of these, I want to assign it to be a, I guess I would just want to do a normal loop through this. So let's just do a normal loop. So creep and my creeps. I'm thinking a reference here is okay. I want to determine the creep type. So I think this actually could be a global one, right? So like, we have a creep. Actually, I don't know if this would be a global one or not. This might not be. I might end up having like a creep type up here, because like other games I might have creeps that have like multiple different body parts together. So let's do so creep type, we have fighter, ranger, and actually I don't only do that. Hello, Rahazil. Do I just play Screeps Arena? No. So I've only been playing Screeps Arena on Sundays. On the weekdays when I do streaming in the mornings, which, you know, around the same time, I've been doing web development and like building a project, but still with Rust. But not playing Screeps Arena. And we just finished the tutorial. So I have yet to beat an actual opponent that does anything against me. Hopefully we'll get there. So I guess at creep type we have fighter, ranger, Do I care about this? I think I do. Okay, so fighter, ranger, healer. Oh, those are the 3 types. So fighter, ranger, and healer. So determine creep type. We'll take in a creep, which is going to be a reference to a creep, and we will return a creep type. All right, so first off, we need the body. So for the part in creep dot can I get the body? Let's see. You're learning to play Screeps World, and you spent the past day attempting to figure out how to get a basic colony together so your harvesters and upgraders can maintain a room. Oh, I see what you mean. Do I only play Screeps Arena versus Screeps World? So I played Screeps World in the past, but I've never really been that great at it. I created a few videos of like setting things up. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It is definitely a lot of fun. You haven't seen Screeps Arena though, so this is a brand new game from the same makers of Screeps. It is a, it's sort of like more of an arena shooter. So like instead of, I guess shooter is the wrong word because I don't do any shooting. The creeps do, but there's 3 different game modes after the tutorial. So this one is capture the flag. So I start the game in this arena with all of my creeps and 2 turrets and a flag. The opponent has exactly the same number of creeps. And then we have 2,000 ticks. Whoever gets their creep onto the opposing flag first wins. That's it. There's some other things going on that we have to take into account, but it basically just is a short game where it's more like a capture, more like a RTS sort of style. Am I writing like a cheat or something? No. So it's kind of funny because this is a programming game. You cannot play except by programming it. So there is no cheating in this way. Like what I'm doing here is attempting to tell the creeps exactly what to do. If I start, like this is actually running here. This is what my creeps did. A whole lot of nothing. They just sat there doing absolutely nothing. So I have to write code, and this run will run. So every 1 tick, the game executes this function for me. And so I then run all this code. I have 100 milliseconds, I think, every tick for my code to actually do all of its stuff, which is a decent amount of time. I'm at a slight disadvantage because I'm using Rust. Rust is JavaScript has some things that allow, like you could write just functions and like code and objects that you can mutate dynamically outside of any function or anything else. That actually is extremely handy for this type of game, because that means you can have state outside of it and run your stuff much faster. I don't have that ability because it's Rust. So I have to basically just be faster, which usually is okay because Rust is going to compile to a little bit faster execution time. But a lot of this is going to be calling methods on the creeps themselves, which I can't control how long that takes. Yeah, Focusaurus, it is really cool. Okay, so I want to determine what creep type, so I want to loop through each creep and then find its body parts. I'm not seeing like a body here. So I have a creep. Oh, yeah, I need to... If I do creep dot... The body, parts, Oh, yeah, you don't have this type here. Import you. For body part in creep dot. There we go. Okay. So now it knows what this is. So I want body. That gives me, it gives me a body part. And then I can turn this into a part. Let's see. Am I programming the AI to fight with another AI or the same AI? Yes, I am programming this to fight against another human player's AI that they've written and uploaded to the Screeps server. So I don't play with them at like the same time necessarily. We don't have to click the same like attack button at the same time. It's more of they've uploaded their code and now it's available for someone to attack them, and sort of like back and vice versa. JavaScript also doesn't have type safety. I think Rust does. Oh yeah, Rust has very strong type safety in comparison with JavaScript, which has like there's essentially only one type in JavaScript, which is an object, which does reduce type safety significantly. It's also like it makes it easier in Rust for me because now I have good type safety. It can also get in the way and make things a little bit harder because of type safety. Okay, so I get this body part. Now a body part, I think I want to get a part off of that. So I want to match body part dot part like this. And now we can see, okay. And this is the benefit of the type safety now, is I can actually just see these as opposed to just write out the code and hope that I didn't misspell it. Okay, so if it's a move, I don't really care about this. So I'm gonna say for a whole bunch of these, I wanna just catch all, and this is gonna be a continue. Work is going to be the same. We're not even going to have those in here. Carry, don't care about that. Now attack, you're going to be a fighter. So creep type, fighter. Ranged attack is a creep type, ranger. Tough, don't care about that. And heal, you're a healer. Okay. I suppose, okay, so this is saying, hey, what if you reach the end here and we don't have anything? Now, I'm perfectly fine with us doing I'll do a warn. And we'll just say, could not determine creep type. I could do that, or we can add in a bunch of error handling. I haven't tried that before. Because otherwise I would just panic here. Oh, so I want to return. I want to return this. Return this. Return this. Otherwise, continue. So we're happy here. Okay, so I can determine the creep type based upon this creep, and then I want. If I have assigned, I want to assign the defender to the first healer that we find. So we'll do a let mute assigned defender equals false. All right, let's now match determine creep type, pass it in the creep. All right, so healer first. If not, let's see, this is good. If not, assign defender. So if we have not assigned a defender, congratulations, you are the defender. So I want to assign this as a role, and I want to attach this to the creep. So I wonder how I want to do this. Do I want to do this like in here with like attach role to creep, or role and have like attached to creep? So impl role. So we'll take in a creep. Oh, it needs a self too. How do I do this? Role, defender, attacker. I guess I could do I can do this and take ownership of this. So that would essentially be like role : defender dot attached to creep. And then pass it in the creep. I think that works. So I have a self, which is going to be one of these things. I want to use the reflect API to attach this in. So this is going to be running in a JavaScript context, so WebAssembly. Okay, so attached to creep, I want to basically attaching to creep. I need to turn this into a string and then attach it, use reflect to then add that to an object. So these creeps in JavaScript are just objects. And because it's JavaScript on their side, I can mutate it, and I can like just add arbitrary key value pairs to it. Now Rust is not too happy because there's this very strong definition of what a creep is, but I can kind of sort of do this. So attached to creep, I want to use reflect. So reflect to set. Our target is going to be the creep. Property key. Okay. This needs to be a JS value. So to utilities. I want to create a JS value from string. So actually, I don't know. Like, it's not going to save any amount of time. So I'm just going to do it here. So we can do JS value from stir role. Oh, and you need to be a reference. And then the value is going to be this as a JS stir. So I want another function here. This could be so far private function, in which we're going to say, I don't need it to become an into role necessarily, like into a JS value, but I want a like as a JS value. I guess like JS value. We'll take in a reference to self. Now JS value and reflect, these are all coming from JS sys. Oh, JS values come from wasm bindgen. Reflect is coming JS sys. All very like, you know, all things you get used to if you're doing a lot of WebAssembly type stuff. So that's not coming from creeps or Screeps. Okay, so I want to do the same thing. I do like from stir. So I want to say match on self. Okay, so if you're a defender, actually, I want this to be okay, return a JS value from stir, and then these can now just be defender, attacker. Mismatch types expected, unit type this, found a result. Oh, so reflect that set is a result. So I probably want to if let okay, so now I can now attach this role to the creep. So back to here. So if we're not assigned to defender, I'm going to say role defender dot attached to creep, pass it in a reference to this creep, and we're good to go here. And because we just assigned the defender, assigned defender becomes true. So if otherwise, I want you to be role attacker attached to creep, and you all are going to be the same thing too. Okay, so now I've assigned a role to each creep and stored it on the creep. That being said, this is going to run every single tick, right? So I'm going to lose that, and there's a possibility that I might actually get change the defender over time. So what I need to do is first check to see, have I done this before? I really only want to do this on the first tick. So if it's the first tick, go ahead and assign roles to all the creeps. Otherwise, we're good to go. We now know that they have roles, and we're happy. Okay, so given that, the first thing I want to sort of play around with is this defender. Have it go and collect body parts in the entire arena. Which I can do if and only if there are no enemies on our side of the map. So I guess separately here, we're going to loop through all of our creeps. We're gonna get their role. So another 4 and my creeps. I need to grit their role, and then we'll handle and sort of like have them do stuff based upon that role. Which means I need to get role. So attach creep, hub function, get role from creep, get from creep. Actually, you know what we can do? Instead of a get from creep like that, we can do a from. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to do our reflect get here. So this is gonna be a string, a role string. Okay, you're gonna give us a result. That's okay, so if you're gonna be okay, that means we're gonna get the roll. And if you're okay, I need to convert this into a string too. Because it's actually not a string yet. It should always be there because we should only be running this after we've set it beforehand. So I should be able to do, I want roll dot as string. And I should be able to do, we can do an unwrap or default. That'll give us an empty string if it fails. You can just do an unwrap. If it errors, okay, so error getting roll from creep. Okay, so that gets us an actual string from our creep. We can then convert this into a roll. So we'll match roll string as stir. So defender becomes, so this becomes self defender. If you're literally anything else, I don't have an unknown on this, so I'm just going, we could panic. That might be good. So we will warn and say unknown role. Okay, so now I can do a from for a reference to a creep here. So from this creep, we'll do let roll equals roll from is it from like that? Oh, it is. Okay. Okay, so I have a role now. We can match on this role. If we're a defender, I want to then run the defender script. So that'll be something down here. Right now, the only thing I know that I need is the creep, and that's the only thing I really care about. And I don't need to return anything. So defender. We're going to run defender. And pass it in that creep. Attackers, to keep you from crashing, we'll do a function. Like that. Okay, so defender, what do I want you to do? So, for a defender, if there are any enemies on our side, then I want to, okay, so if there are any enemies on our side of the map, then get back to the flag. Otherwise, collect body parts. There's also going to be like the attacking thing. So if there are any enemies on our side of the map, how does code become software? I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Can you like sort of give a little bit more definition of like what you mean by software? Okay, so if there are any enemies on our side of the map, go to the flag. Then I want to, and these are going to be like in order of like importance here. So, then we'll have melee attack, heal, ranged attack. So I need to find how close our opponents are. So this is gonna be interesting. I need a to get our we need to get our flag. We only have one, so I actually feel safe to just give me the first one. There we go, my flag. Oh wait, you know what? This is going to be all the flags. It's not necessarily the first one. Hold on. So I need to also well, into iterator, filter, then give me the first one. Will you let me do that? Oh yeah, flag that mine. So I want an unwrap or default, which I believe is false on objects. Okay, so then you're upset. Cannot move. I don't want to move. Fine. We do that. So we do. I mean, I might as well at this point in time just do a function get flag with a my as a bool. Let's see. Okay. Code is what developers write, and software is what users use to accomplish a task. For example, can you describe the to process from code to software? So it should be instantaneous almost. Like if users are like, what you want to do is you want to minimize the time between just like writing code and then having users be able to use it. So think of it this way. End-to-end tests are using software because you want to write your end-to-end tests basically doing the same types of things that the end user does. So essentially it's at like, as developers, we're automatically testing software. That your unit tests are essentially testing just the code, if that makes sense. So there really shouldn't be that big of a leap between what you write and then the software that you're creating. It should be fairly small. All right, so I've extracted that out into a function just so I don't have all that logic sitting in here and run. So now I have access to my flag. So we're back to here. So I can take in my flag, and I can take in all of the enemies, and then we can determine the closest one to the flag. Rather, yeah, it probably would be the closest one to the flag. Because we want a distance to that. So let's do our enemies too. Oh, you're okay. So you're attempting to move out of there. Well, we can just clone you. That should be fine. Okay. So runner defender. So we're taking in a creep. So I want the distance. I want the distance between the flag and then the enemies. Let's do this in here, and then we'll see whether or not it makes sense to put this into utilities later. So I think what I can do is flag dot find closest by path, probably. So want to or find closest by range, maybe. Okay, we can do find closest by range. Positions is going to be an array. Now, this array is not a Rust array. This is a JavaScript array, so it's going to be very fun. So I need to create an array from the enemies. To me, this feels like I want to create a creeps array. Yeah, we're going to use this JSSys array as what we're returning. So let our result is going to be equal to array new. Now this is going to be super freaky. I am not taking this in as mutable, so I just have it, right? We're going to return result. I want to loop through each of our creeps, and I want to push them into the result. So we're going to do for creep in creeps. You're a reference here, so we're going to do result.push creep. And I wonder if I have to clone this. So far, no. You don't know why NodeMon is not restarting when you run inside a Docker container. Do you have any experience with NodeMon? So it's possible. So NodeMon can have sort of weirdness when running in Docker container. It's usually worked for me in the past, but like I've also had it not work sometimes. Are you copying in the code when you're running, or are you using like a volume to sort of have your code shared between the Docker container and the host system? You're using the volume. Yeah, so it's I've seen this before in the past. I don't remember how I solved it. It really does suck though. There's if I remember correctly, there's some options in NodeMon where you can tell it don't like how to determine if a file has changed. It's possible that you need to dig through the options and then like use like NodeMon -I or something like that. I don't know. To tell to like say like, oh, use timestamps or something else. When you change the code in your host, then you can see that inside the Docker container the code also changed, but NodeMon is not triggering. Yeah, so I think it's using something else to determine whether or not a file is triggered. And it's not something that's compatible within NodeMon, but I bet that there's a option or flag that you can set to make that work again. I just don't remember what it was. It's been too long since I've touched NodeMon inside of a Docker container. Okay, so now I can do this create Screeps array inside of here. So this is going to be an create Screeps array, pass it in these creeps. Oh, pass it in the enemies. Okay, so this gives me an option of an object. Well, I suppose that makes sense, right? Because if I don't have any more enemies, then this will be empty, essentially, and there won't be one to get. So what I probably want to do is an if let here. If let you found the solution. Script start NodeMon -L. Legacy flash. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, I remember there was some kind of flag, but I didn't remember which one. So awesome. That's great to find out. Okay, so now I have the closest enemy. Now notice that it's just this object, a very generic object, which means that I don't like. It's gonna be unhappy if I try to do anything with it, but I don't think closest by range is gonna tell me. Oh, absolutely, homeless, no problem. I don't think this is gonna tell me. Yeah, like an index of which one I got. It just is find closest by range. So that gives me closest enemy. I wonder if I can cast this. I know that is a creep. Let's see. Can I do creep from closest enemy? Is that, did they write that? So they have a JS value. So they have a from JS value here, but not from anything else. Okay. I want to know exactly how close this is to my flag. So I know this is the closest one, but how close is it? So I want a distance too. So let distance equals flag dot get range to. Ooh, and then I can just use this reference to an object. So reference to closest enemy. and that gives me a U8 because it can't be more than 100 because the entire map is 100 by 100. In the past 6 months, you had a lot of days that you wanted to give up on coding. Did I also have these kinds of moments when I started coding? Absolutely, yes. There was a lot of times where I was just like, and this is also like true when I was switching over to web development after being a systems administrator for 8 years, when I'm like, I just don't understand why these things aren't working. Like, and you know, why can't I figure out this code and why can't I do this thing? And then just like, well, you know, just sort of imagining, well, I guess I'm gonna have to quit this career and go find another career to do, and you know, all this stuff, and then I'm gonna get fired from my job or something like that. And it's more of, and this is I haven't figured out a good way to like teach this yet, but with every time that you're successful, keep sort of like a mental tally on this, or just actually have like, how often have you run into a situation where, with the help of mentors, so not just on your own, with the help of mentors, with the help of Google, with the help of whatever, you have just completely and totally failed and were unable to move forward again. And it was just a give up and I can't do it. Compare that to the number of times that you felt that way, but then we're able to move forward with the help of mentors, with the help of Google, with the help of Stack Overflow, with the help of documentation, or just randomly trying something and then eventually seeing it work. Hopefully, the number of like successes vastly outnumber the amount of just abject failures. In which case you can just sort of have a use this as a emergency confidence booster, where you're just gonna go in and you're just gonna say, you know what, I don't know what's going on, but more often than not, I figured it out in the past, so I have confidence I will figure this out again. So therefore, basically just like inject false confidence in yourself. This is part of fake it till you make it, and then go and do it, and hopefully get another tally and success for the next time. So that's the thing. Like that's how I don't give up coding or anything else. In the past, I just add false bravado and delude myself into like thinking that everything is going to work out just fine. And then it usually does. Okay, so I have this distance. If the distance, so I'm going to say halfway is 50 or so. Is there a grid? So I can't like necessarily see the distance here, but I can see like up here this is 0, 0. Creeps can move diagonal. So this is 50-50 right here. So if they're within 50, I need to book it back home. So if distance, okay, so I'll just keep that to have a label on that. So if distance is less than 50, let's do like less than or equal to 50. Then I need to move, this might be a state thing here. I need to head home. Yeah, this might be a good idea for us to add a state in for everything. And I wonder if state is going to end up being like very specific to capture the flag versus other things. I might want to pull this out and like put this into just capture the flag. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to do that right now. Let's save. Let's remove state from you. Okay. And we'll put in a state inside of here. So we have this enum creep type, and we'll have an enum state. So starting with our defender, we have like moving to flag, essentially. Homeless, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Thank you. And hopefully that's a indication of like confidence in moving forward. There is so much in coding, and like it's the way I like to think about it is that we're the 60s is when like a huge amount of like programming was really like big. We're 120, no, we're 60, we're 60 years. We're 60 years after that. And we still kind of don't know what we're doing. Like, we kind of do, but like we're discovering collectively all these better ways that we should probably be doing programming stuff. So if we don't know what we're doing individually, part of it is because we don't know what we're doing collectively. We have good ideas, but we're pretty much sure we're going to find, like in the next 50 years of continuing to do this, way better ways of doing all this stuff. Okay, so we want to then say, okay, we're moving to flag. So my thought is that we're going to add state onto our creep, just like we have a role on our creep. Does that make sense? Because I need to know Bullfirst Dad, hello. I guess like part of this, I now need to know my distance to the flag, right? Like, am I on the flag or am I not on the flag? I can always just have myself move to it. Maybe that would work because I think I can move and attack at the same time in the same turn. So maybe I don't need that. Maybe I can just do, okay, so if distance is less than 50, I want to say creep, move to the flag, no special options. Also, we have this distance here. Okay, so this is, if they're less than 50, move to the flag. I want to attack them based upon if they're, like, how close they are. So, if the distance is less than 50, we're moving to it. If the distance is equal to 1, I wonder if I can do that as like, hey, attack them melee. Oh, they're not in range. Okay, attack them ranged. Okay, they're not in range. Then heal myself. I wonder if that would work too. Maybe it might. So let's do that result. Okay, so we remove. I want to attack this enemy. So result equals creep dot attack closest enemy. Now here's a problem. The trait bound object attackable is not satisfied. So it doesn't know what this is. So I basically need to create okay, so this is the closest enemy object, but I actually need this to turn into a real enemy at this point in time. So I need an object to a creep. This might be here. What if I bet I can use reflect on the object to get the ID off of it. Then I can get all the creeps. Look through until I get the ID. Okay, so hub function object to creep. So we'll take an object, which is reference to an object, and we'll turn an option with a creep inside. Because, of course, there's a possibility that we won't find one. So first of all, we need our ID. So let object ID equals, like, we don't know what this is, so we have to reflect to get it. Okay, so if you're good, we're going to get this ID, but it's going to be a JS value. And I actually need this to be... is there GAN objects by ID? Hold on. There might be. If there's an error... error getting ID from object. Okay, so I wonder if I can do this just from a JS value. Because I don't exactly know what type it is. Is it like a U32? Is it U64? Okay, so if I got that, then I want to get objects by ID. Oh, and you take in a JS string. So can I pass it a reference to object ID? No. Expected reference JS string, found reference JS value. What? What are you? Okay, so documentation for this is decently good. So I want to do off of creep. Okay, so off of game object. There's, oh, an ID is a string. Okay, that's really good to know. So we're going to id.asString. Unwrap. Okay, so now I have an object ID that's a string, and so you need to be a JS string. Okay, cool. So JS string from stir. Wait, can I do a from string? From stir. Okay. Reference to object ID. Mismatch types, expected reference, JS string. Found a reference result, JS string infallible. Well, that's interesting. So because from stir returns a result. So then this would be another unwrap. Okay, so then let, this is going to be our creep. Which is optioned game object. Optioned game object. Okay. Creep dot. Oh, and you're an option. Okay, so if I unwrap you, what do I get? So I get like the X and the Y, and that's... So I wonder if the game object would be fine. What if I would change this to like object to game object? So I take an object, and then I'm going to return a game object. In which case, I can just return you. Okay, so object to game object. Okay, so runner defender. Creep.attack. You need to attack something with a T. So maybe I can do object to game. Oh, because like, well, this should always work, right? This will be reference to closest enemy. We should be able to unwrap you safely here because we know that we found you already. So you exist. Your ID exists. The trait bound game object attackable is not satisfied. The following other types implement trait attackable. Oh, I was really hoping to find that. Okay, fine. I don't think that I can cast and like turn this into a creep. Unless like there's something else that I can do. Like, is there, I don't have like any kind of like attack direction, right? That I could do where I just say like, hey, just attack that space. So I think what I need to do is change object to game object. So instead, let's just do object to creep again. We're going to get this object ID, which is the string. Then I want to get all the creeps. So let then I want to find that. Okay, so we can into iterator. We could then find get the ID, which gives me a JS string. So this got me a JS value. So can I like get a JS string from the JS value? Ah, okay. That gives me, so that's not yelling at me yet. So that's a good option. That's good so far. Okay, so now I have object ID as a JS value. So I want creep ID is equal to object ID. Oh, hello there. Hi. No, you don't want to be. I just want to hang out here. Hang out on the floor. Sorry. That was my other camera for Zilby, but I accidentally knocked it off the table. So sorry about that. No Zilby cam until I fix that then. I was going to see if I can show him. He was playing with a little ball on the floor here. But okay. So I want to do, okay, script equals object ID. Okay, so if I find this, can't compare JS string with JS value. Wait, what? You're a JS string. Oh, you're still a JS value. JS string from. Can I do that? JS string. Okay, JS string. There we go with that. Okay. So you become this option creep. So I can just return this. So object to creep now. Okay, so back to you. Okay, so the enemy that I'm concerned with, so let's do enemy equals object to creep. This is going to be a reference to the closest enemy. We know that this enemy exists. So I should be safe to unwrap it. Okay, so I can now attack. I don't need to do all of that anymore. We're just going to attack the enemy. Okay, so if we're going to attempt to attack the enemy, if the result is return code not in range, great. Let's then we're going to heal ranged attack them. So if result equals this one, so this is gonna be weird. I can go back out and not do nested ifs if I then say, okay, if this result I can like let the next result equals this. It's a little bit weird. Wait, not there. So I attempt to attack them. Let result then inside of here, I say, okay, we're not in range. Fine. Let's do the next one. So we're going to say creep dot ranged attack enemy. Okay, that gives us this code. So then, okay, if we're also not in ranged, so if result equals code not in range, then creep dot heal myself. So creep. Oh, right. If may be missing an else clause. So if it's not in ranged, so let's think about this. Or I can just do nested ifs. It's like fairly horrible looking. So then I do I don't like this at all. I want to find a better way of doing that, but I also want to make sure it works. So this is when the enemies get close to us, then I want to fight. But okay. So I don't have state. I'm gonna remove that for right now. We can test this code out because I have an enemy or I have an opponent that I can play against that attacks me. And so we can then check our run defender to see if we go back and that all works. So let's try that out. I'm gonna go into my Docker code and we're gonna do Screeps deploy, capture the flag. No object being an object. Oh, right. I changed the name. Okay, so that worked. Let's back to this. What I can do, because I don't have any enemies that will attack, the idle opponent obviously won't do anything. Floating orange does do something. So let's play against them. We lose, not surprisingly. I don't like one creep is not gonna be good enough. So these are enemies. They swarm their own flag. Here's us. My healer doesn't do anything until later. So let's skip ahead until they start an attack, which is like not exactly sure how long it takes them. There they go. At this point, they reach the halfway mark. So I should start seeing one of these guys go in and start covering the flag. And if I don't, that's because my code is not. Oh, there it is. Here's my creep coming back. Plenty of time. Enemies aren't even on the screen yet. So skipping ahead a little bit more. I should be attacking them, I would imagine. I just die really fast. Did I have... There were no console logs at all. So no crashes, no nothing else. It feels to me like the attempt to attack wasn't all that helpful. I think instead of just blindly attempting to like attack the closest one, because I think I did that. I think I started attacking them, but it was far too late. I want to see like how close the closest one is. So let's do a warn. Closest enemy is away. I want to see if it's a 0 or a 1 when they're right next to us. And I guess we can write the code for the other part. So if distance is like less than or equal to 1, then we'll do creep dot attack. Oh, right, I can't attack. I didn't have any body parts, so that part won't work at all. But this might do it. So attack the enemy. Else if distance is less than or equal to 4, then I want creep dot ranged attack enemy. Otherwise, creep dot heal creep. Okay, so I'll keep that warning up here for right now. It seems to be working in general. What I do want to know is if you are Okay, so if you're not here, we're in an else at this point. I want you to collect body parts. So like just collect the nearest body part. So I'm going to create a function for that. So collect body parts. Collect body part. Is that well, maybe before I do this, I should actually just like write out here, and then it'll refactor to sort of try to make this a little bit nicer. Or if I can't make it nicer, if I don't know how to make it nicer, I'll just throw it into a function and sort of like the equivalent of sweeping something under the rug and at least naming the complexity. Okay, so to collect body parts, what do I need to do? I want to, well, I first need a list of body parts. So okay, so I have a vector of them. If the vector is empty, I don't want to do anything. So I need like one to exist. And I wonder if they get in here in order in which they were created, in which case going after the first one is all I really need to do. So if let some body part equals body parts, we'll get the first. Then I want to just move move towards it. So creep dot move to. Target will be body part. None. Okay, so move to the body part. Now, if there are no body parts, perhaps to get closer to them, I want to move to the center of the map. I don't necessarily have... Yeah, maybe I don't want to do anything. We'll just try this to begin with. So just go off and collect body parts. So that should be fine. Let's compile this. Oh, I think it did it already. Floating orange is fine because its opponent doesn't attack for a pretty decent amount of time, which would allow my my defender to go collect a bunch of things. So, oh, there we go. Okay, so here's our defender. It's this healer, and there's a single body part out here. Looks like it's an attack. So that's great. I wish there was a way for me to sort of follow a single one so I can just like zoom in and say, okay, camera, follow it. I don't know. I don't think I can do that though. I could increase the speed of this to, let's do 4 ticks per second. Ooh, so as soon as we go into the other area of the swamp, we got attacked by their, what is it? Their turret. Which shouldn't be a problem because if we get back in time, oh, look at this. There's another one right here, which would be better for me to go for. It's going for the next one that was created. Oh, that one despawned. So now it's going after this one. So maybe that's fine. Yeah, it's wasting a lot of time. That's both turrets attacking me. Oh, I'm almost dead. Oh, my... Oh, I have no health anymore. I have no healing components anymore. Well, that's not a good thing. I need to heal myself. If I get attacked by the other turrets. Which... Man, they refill pretty quickly. Okay, so they're on their way. I'm still going after this. I'm not going to get home in time, and I don't have anything that I can do because I've been so damaged. Yeah, I need to wait until like 75 away or something almost. So, all right, couple things of what went wrong here. First of all, I got attacked by the enemy turrets. I couldn't do anything if I want to. I have a couple moves and that's it. Everything else is just dead. So that's not great. Let's see, other things. They beat me home because I was in the middle of the swamp. And thirdly, I'm missing body parts because I'm going after the first one, like in order that they spawned, not the closest ones to me. So I kind of almost want to, as soon as I collect one, if there's not another one for me to collect, get out of the swamp immediately. Don't just hang out there. Or if they start coming past like 75, or if they're like within range 80 almost, just time to go home. So let's change this to like be, if they're within 75, time to book at home. And then the other thing is that if I'm hurt, I need to heal myself. And that's it. So I almost want to check this right here. So like, if creep dot, if creep dot, let's see, we have hits max and then hits. Okay, so if creeps dot hits is less than creep dot hits max, I've been hurt, creep dot heal, creep. Also head home, so creep dot move to our flag, and then return. So at least on that turn, we're done. On the other turns, go ahead and move to it. So I am missing some of these, but at least now I'll stay healthy, and then we'll head home earlier too. So maybe this will help, and maybe this will make us move a little bit faster too. Let's try that one thing at a time. There's still no way that we can actually win. The best we can do is tie by defeating every single one of theirs. Here I go. Up to get the ranged in the top right. Oh, interesting. As soon as I get it, I then heal myself in order to make use of. Okay, quick. I want to see the body parts. There you go. Yeah, so as soon as I get one of these, basically I have it's inactivated. I need to heal it for it to be usable, which is super interesting. Okay, so that's good to know. So I'm essentially draining their turrets because I just heal myself and then okay, so that works, I suppose. Okay, so this continues as it is. I'm not getting too many body parts. That's not great, but at least I do have range attack and melee attack capabilities now, and even stronger healing abilities. Okay, they're coming, and I'm on the way home, and I'm now in healing myself mode. And it looks like I'll beat them home, barely. And I'm attacking them. Oh, I didn't beat them home. They got to the flag before me. Well, that's too bad. Okay, so I can maybe further optimize this. It was really close. I wonder if I want to do something like 85. $640 ticks, so just a couple more ticks. This might have sort of kind of worked in what I was expecting. So okay, I'm getting the body parts. Not really optimized there, so it's not great. Then they head home. Okay, so they're I feel like I'm moving much faster than them this time. I've probably got some moved body parts. I got home in very decent time. They're attacking me. I'm dead. How many do they have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. How do we start? How many do we start with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. Okay, so I didn't kill any of them. And they're all showing at 100% health, so they're probably healing each other. All right, so I don't think that strategy is working. Yeah, so this strategy doesn't seem to be working. I think what I need to do is rethink about like what strategy I want to do, because I think I want to just leave my defender home and have everyone else sort of deal with their stuff. So I'm going to take a really quick break and think about the strategy, and I will be right back. All right, I'm back. So I have a thought. What if we do the opposite? What if I leave my defender at home? Although, you know what? How well would this strategy work, if everyone else was fighting at the same time? Because I'm really just like putting a lot of onus on my defender here to actually do something good. We have our turrets, and we have all these other sort of defenders here, or all these other attackers. I kind of feel that I can have them deal with this stuff too. So before I change how this is working, I want to switch over to now our attackers, and so like the rest of this army, what are they gonna do? So let's see. Oh, and we have our turrets too. I guess we'll do turrets first. So function run turrets. Do I have them here? I don't. Let me get them. I guess technically they're towers. So get towers. Let's see, tower my is going to be an option. So we can do an unwrap or a default here to make sure it's mine. And then collect you together. Okay, so that gives me my towers. And then, okay, so I'll run turrets, run towers. Okay, so how am I going to run this? I'm thinking that I get the nearest enemy. So here's this. Okay, so get the closest enemy. Now, if I need this closest enemy, and I need it to the flag, that's very similar to this. I wonder if I really want to do this twice, or if I could do it externally and then pass this in. We have like a list of all the enemies. I guess I don't need all the enemies then here. Okay, so if let's we have a closest enemy, creeps enemies. It's your reference. This would be my flag. Then I want distance to the flag. And really it's enemy distance to flag. Okay. Okay, so that gives me this U8. So I can actually pass this in, can't I? So we can then put in our for loop here. Now this is if it's an else, I want to loop through all my creeps and probably just go to the flag. Yeah, so that kind of makes sense. Okay, so I mean this is flag. Okay, so we get this. We do our for creep and creeps. Okay, so we get to roll from the creep, and then we can run attacker and defender. So if I'm not going to do these two things now, and then not get the distance. Yeah, I'll do enemy distance to flag. Enemy distance is a U8. Okay, so we have that. Creep hits. Just basically heal myself. Actually, don't know if I need to move to myself or not. I just want to heal myself. I guess we could continue collecting parts while we're healing too. So that's fine too. And really, I want this to be okay. So if it's less than 85, else, I kind of want to. I can heal myself while also doing this thing. There's no penalty for me attempting to heal myself just constantly. Okay, so if the enemy is within 85, I want to move towards my flag, convert the closest enemy to a creep. So actually probably just do enemy, closest enemy. Can be a reference to a creep, which means I need to grab this. Okay, so now I have closest enemy, I have my enemy distance. I don't need to do this anymore. We could warn, say like how close they are. If enemy distance is less than or equal to 1, attack them. If they're within 4, ranged attack them. Otherwise, heal myself. Okay, so I think this will work for our defender. Oh, you're at your closest enemy now. Okay, run towers. So I want to find, okay, so we want to take the closest enemy. So want closest enemy is a creep, and then I want the enemy distance also. And so if enemy distance is less than or equal to, let's say 5, then I want to attack these. So we're gonna say for tower in towers, tower dot attack closest enemy, and that would be it. Okay, so get towers and run towers. I don't think I did this correctly. Yeah, tower.my is equal to my. That should now give me my towers and not always just be empty. Okay, so then run towers I can have you go down here. All right. Oh, so we need to put this in here, actually. So run towers, pass it in. My towers. Closest enemy is actually this reference to the closest enemy creep. Enemy distance is enemy distance to flag. Okay, let's run this and make sure that we've got that going. So there shouldn't be any difference between my defender creep. That should pretty much be the same thing. Maybe a tiny bit more optimized. And then the tower should now help out too. So we should, yep, 652. So we're just a few more ticks surviving, which is what we want to see. So my creep is constantly healing himself and then collecting a bunch of things, which is great. Unfortunately, this time around, it seems to be only getting a bunch of healing stuff, which is not really all that helpful. They're on their way, so I'm on my way back. All I got was healing items. That was less good. And here's our towers then helping out. I feel like my creep wasn't attempting to heal itself. So if the oh right, okay, so it's attempting to attack, but it can't attack because it has no attack abilities. I wonder if I want to make another function for like attack, but only if you can. I think that would be a lot better though if we had picked up like some attackers. I'll leave that as it were. Okay, so let's move on now. So we got our towers, we got you all. Okay, so our attackers. So I want to get the closest enemy too, and we're going to attack them. So we'll get closest enemy distance. Okay, so closest enemy distance. if the enemy distance is less than, let's say like, I kind of want to like move back to the flag. So if enemy distance is less than 5, get them nice and close, then we're going to do all of our attacky stuff. Otherwise, I want to move towards our flag. So okay, so just move there. If we can't get there, if the enemy distance is less than 5, now it's time for us to do our things. I do need to know exactly what type we have. So I need to know what creep type we have. Which I think we have a... Determine creep type. Okay, so determine creep type. Let's see. So match determine creep type. We'll pass in creep. Okay, so if you're a fighter, I just want you to attack. That's all we care about. So we'll just say creep dot attack closest enemy. That's all you care about. Ranger is gonna be creep dot ranged attack closest enemy. And healer. Now this is gonna be interesting. I need to find the closest. I guess like of all of our creeps, I need to find the ones with the least amount of health. So I need all of my creeps. Which would include itself, but there might be, well, I'm doing everything by reference, so this should be fine because I have no mutable, I can get multiple references to the same thing at the same time as long as I'm not mutating it. And as far as Rust is concerned, that's exactly what's happening. So I should be okay here. So I want to find the creep with the lowest health. Or I guess like find the first creep with hit points lower than max hits. So we can loop through the creeps. I wonder if I want to do I can do an if let and do an option here. So function find first hurt creep. If I need to clone it, I will. It doesn't really affect things. I don't think they're really caring about our memory usage. So I don't think I'm like even coming close to running out of memory. So let's loop through these. So for creep in creeps, if creep dot hits is less than creep dot its max. I want to return the creep. Oh, and you probably need to be a none, don't you? Yeah. Let's return a sum creep. Otherwise, we reach the end. We're returning a none. Okay, so if let sum hurt creep equals find first hurt creep, pass it in. Okay, so I need all of my creeps. Then I want to, I guess, like heal that one. If it's out of range, move towards it. So if creep dot heal okay, so heal that. What are you upset about? Match arms have incompatible types. Oh, right, because these are all returning codes, and I don't necessarily care about returning codes here, so. Oh, no, wait, I do. But you know what's really cool? Oh, we can, ooh, okay, this is gonna work out. So if let's find hurt first hurt creep, well, it's almost gonna work out. Heal not in range. So I almost need this to be an option coming out of here, because like maybe I'm not trying to, like, maybe I don't need to go here. So let's put a sum on each of these. Okay, so if let's hurt creep, then I attempt to heal the creep. So that's great. Otherwise, it's a none. This gets a semicolon. And now I do a let, here's a result equals u. If let some result. Okay, so if result equals return code not in range, I guess this is the only negative here, is that I'm returning, I don't actually know which creep I'm moving to, do I? I wonder if I do want to like move to them, but I don't know which one they are, which sucks. I have the hurt creep here. I need to almost return the target creep that I'm going to, so it's just the return code. Almost something, I'm not liking this, but and then my target, which would be the closest enemy. Now you are going to be interesting, right? Because I'm returning okay, so now I have a tuple. It's not super great, but okay. So I have result equals, okay, so I want to do this as the result and then the target. If result is not in range, then creep dot move to the target. Okay, so now everyone should move into the flag. Otherwise, spread out and attack. So that's you failed to compile. I have 2 errors. Right, run attacker now takes in more things. Okay, so this is the closest enemy. And the enemy distance to flag, my flag, my creeps. That's it. Okay, no more errors. That built. Let's see. We still can't possibly win because we never attack the other opponent's flag, but maybe we can get to... Like, if we tie, that means we killed all of the opponents and they never touched our flag, which would be amazing if that happened. 669 ticks, so we got closer, but we still lost. So... there goes our healer defender, picking up things. Actually getting, like, attacking body parts this time. Okay, they're on the move, and so I'm coming back. I'm being attacked constantly on the way back this time, which is not great. So I clearly couldn't get back in time. But now there's this big battle. My defenders run out of everything, so it's just dead, essentially. Oh, and they're 1 away. So, I may have to think about this a little bit more, but like how I want to handle this. My creep that went out is great, but it didn't really necessarily work out. So I think like we're closer. We're a lot closer, but we're still losing. I think we still have just like a fundamental problem with strategy. I'm thinking that I might want to just send all my creeps out to collect body parts. Maybe leave my defender at home and just like the defender just sits there and that's it. Like the defender sits there and heals themselves. And just just buys everyone else more time. That might be the best way to do this. I'm not sure. I think that what I'm gonna end up doing is because I have a bunch of chores I need to take care of today too. I'm gonna think about what my strategy is gonna be throughout this week, and then next week maybe we can like update strategy, go with something better, and beat everybody. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down for now. Thank you everybody for hanging out with me today. Thank you again, Homos, for the subscription. And I will be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time. We're going to be working on a web app. We're integrating Auth0 into a Vue.rs application. So it's still Rust code, more of the web app side. And then I'll be back next week on Sunday for more Screeps. So with that, have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you next time. Bye.